Welcome everyone to this Digital Leaders Talk, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jo Morrison, and for 20 years have been exploring the strengths of technology and data to enhance people's experience of public places. And I'm here with my colleague Marissa, and together we're going to provide you with a session that informs you, inspires you, and helps your future projects create meaningful impact. Now, here's a quick FOMO alert. If you are watching this live, at the end of the session, you will be the first to hear about an amazing project that Calvium has been commissioned to deliver for the Arts Council England, Arts Council of Wales, Creative Scotland, and the Arts Council of Northern Ireland. But first, let's tell you about Calvium. We are a leading digital innovation agency who care about creating digital placemaking experiences that foster deeper connections between people and places. We attract curious minds, embrace difference, and enjoy all sorts of participatory approaches in our work. We're recognised experts in digital placemaking, having won multiple innovation awards over the years. And just to mention digital placemaking operates at the intersection of people, place, technology, and data, which is the exact location of this talk. For the next half hour, we will explore how we can create a more inclusive vision of place-based digital technologies so that future digital innovations work in service of all people. And this talk is for those who are committed to both interpreting the world and changing it for the better. Marissa and I have gathered a wealth of wonderful projects so that you have all sorts of ideas and insights and evidence at your fingertips. As we go along, you will see that Marissa is going to share various related resources with you. So, what does choose inclusion mean? Well, put simply, places that are inclusive are those that enable everybody to participate equally, confidently, and independently in their everyday activities. Conversely, exclusion is when people are left out, when there are barriers to participation. Therefore, if we're not choosing to be inclusive, we are choosing to exclude, to cause separation. So to help all people to achieve a better quality of life, we should choose inclusion. And thankfully, whilst not happening everywhere yet, inclusion is already being chosen at the meta, the local, and hyperlocal levels. For instance, at the meta level, we can point to Goal 11 of the UN's SDGs, which commits us to trying to create safe and inclusive towns and cities by 2030. The UK and 190 other nations have signed up to provide universal access to safe, inclusive, and accessible green and public spaces, which include streets, open spaces, and public facilities, and so forth. Next, moving to the local level. Here, we can start to think about the places and therefore the context within which each one of us operates. At this level, there are also a tremendous array of helpful policies and guides and toolkits and so forth that are intended to support inclusive practices. Just a few are on this slide, such as inclusive spaces and places for girls and young people, gender inclusive urban planning and design, and the engagement overlay to the RIBA plan of work. At the point of doing or practice and of your practice this morning, by exploring some fantastic real-world innovation, you'll learn how to set up a project to have the best chance of impact. And I hope that you are feeling positive and groovy and raring to get going. Here's our session structure. we'll start with context, and then we'll have a deep dive into early stage innovation. So that's, remember, our sweet spot for the day, and then an insights roundup. So a bit of context. As I'm sure you'll agree, the ways in which our interconnected urban spaces are constructed, how they're experienced, and how they're perceived can have a significant impact on people's lives, for good and for bad. And these places won't be experienced in the same way by all people. And as this illustration highlights, a wealth of factors make up our places, such as utility infrastructure, housing, laws and regulations, people, intangible structures. They all, in combination, make up the fabric of our places. Let's focus now on one factor, which is digital technology. Whomever you are in this session, the places you shape and those you visit will now be interwoven with technology. For instance, these digital platforms and apps and many others enable us to plan a trip, find our way, order food, pay for services, find people nearby, participate in exercise communities, and much more. So hold on to this framing of place and technology as we move to Africa, to Sierra Leone, to take a look at our case study, which is a great example of digital placemaking practice. It's called Freetown the Treetown and was a finalist in the 2023 Earthshot Prize. So over the past 50 years, Freetown has undergone rapid population growth, resulting in the loss of millions of trees due to urban development in the city. And this video gives a great overview.
I was born in Freetown, Sierra Leone. I am a Freetonian. As a child, I remember walking through these areas. It was so green and thick with forests. We would climb trees and swim in streams. This is my city. I love it. My name is Yira. I work with FedUp, and we are partners in the Freetown City Council. Our mission is to improve people's lives by building urban climate resilience in Freetown. Freetown is a beautiful city, but we have been impacted heavily by climate change.
Freetown the Treetown is our city's ambitious plan to plant 1 million trees over 2 rainy seasons. But we're not just planting trees, we're growing them, which means communities are involved, which means we're tracking them, which means we're monitoring their growth, and we're bringing new life to hillsides, to mangroves, to forested areas.
The COVID pandemic highlighted the importance of food security and growing our own food locally. Urban gardens allow people to grow their own food in their own backyard or even on their balconies. We have provided garden tools and seeds and showed people now they can even reuse everyday items to create their own gardens.
1 million trees will not fix climate change, but it will reduce flooding and landslides. It will ensure that we bring back biodiversity into our cities. It'll ensure that the mangrove areas where our fishes are spawned are restored. It will really make a significant impact.
My hope is that future generations will be able to enjoy nature and wildlife of Freetown just like I did as a child. Nature is good. I love nature. I was born in Freetown, Sierra Leone. I am a Freetonian. As a child...
There we go. So as you've discovered, Freetown the Treetown responds to the environmental, social, and economic needs of the city. For me, this is an inspirational project. And a critical part is the Tree Tracker app that lets local growers tag each new tree and then monitor them across the planting and maintenance phases. So each grower also receives micropayments for their efforts. And here's a short video about the app.
We have a digital platform which enables the growth of trees to be tracked to ensure that that sustainability is embedded.
It's a very simple piece of technology that is in the hand of a community grower. Once they plant the tree, boom, they track it. Once they get that digital footprint of the tree and it's verified in our system, then we are able to track the life and the health of the tree.
At the initial track, a coordinate is attached to it, so it has the location of the planting. They also add a note. The note is the physical tags that we generate. After these trees are verified, a token is issued. A token is like a coin. If we need to pay growers, they have to demonstrate evidence of survival.
What's most important is the trees don't just get planted, but grow.
There, I got in quickly there. So remember, we are focusing today on the critical first step of an innovation project. So that's identifying opportunities to make the experience of places better for all people and setting up a project that has the best chance of success. And we can see that at a meta level, the meta level need in Freetown was identified from the environmental, the economic and social perspectives. It established a clear challenge at the local level, which is to create locally led urban reforestation. And at the practice level, the hyperlocal, its chance for meaningful impact was massively increased by having leadership level buy-in and proactive engagement, in this case, the city mayor. And this project has so many highlights to offer us, but we don't have time at the moment. However, I encourage you to return to this project and really look at it again through different lenses. Now we move to our innovation deep dive and look at some projects that chose inclusion. And our first project is called Navigating Stations, or NAVSTA, which is an example of co-designing a wayfinding app with the audience who are the primary end users, so people who are neurodivergent. NAVSTA chooses inclusion. How, you ask? Well, through inclusive research and co-design. And it shows how the creative and thoughtful application of digital technologies can make public spaces more accessible for all. Now, at the moment, people in London are able to plan their journey and travel using digital tools, but not for their whole journey, such as at railway stations when indoor wayfinding tools are needed. This means that many people with less visible disabilities simply don't travel, as to do so causes high anxiety. So they don't go to museums, don't access the broader job market, and so forth. NAVSTA plugs this gap and provides the necessary tools to help people plan their journey through a station, undertake their journey, and manage uncertainty during a journey. So let's look at a video that shows inclusive research in action at Canada Water Station.
NAVSTA is a mobile wayfinding app with inclusive research and design at its core. NAVSTA will help passengers with neurodiverse conditions such as autism, dyslexia, memory loss, depression, and anxiety to find their way around railway stations independently and with confidence. It's widely accepted that less visible disabilities can be just as much of a barrier to travel as visible ones. To meet the needs of neurodiverse travelers, any digital solution must be designed and developed in a genuinely inclusive way. That's why we've been working with NAVSTA's intended users to inform the design of the app. The first on-site usability testing was at Canada Water Station in London. 5 participants with a wide range of cognitive and mental health needs put the app through its paces to see how it supported them to plan a journey through the station, undertake a journey, and manage uncertainty during a journey. By providing the information that passengers need when they need it, NAVSTA aims to reduce the causes of anxiety when traveling through stations. The findings from this stage of research will inform the next phase of NAVSTA's development and help it to become an essential part of the traveling public's toolkit. The creation of this innovative wayfinding tool will not only benefit the passenger, but will provide a valuable demonstrator for other train stations seeking to remove barriers to travel, increase customer satisfaction, and achieve more inclusive and accessible journeys.
So these are a few screen grabs from the app interface. As you can see, it provides information about Canada Water Station, which is part of London Underground, and does so using text, audio, and imagery, allowing a user to access the same type of information in a mode that suits their individual needs at a particular time was identified as essential by participants during the research. And so that's what was delivered in the app. NAVSTA shows us that setting up a project in ways that actively involve the target audience as co-researchers, co-designers, and co-creators will significantly increase your chances of successful innovation. So the insight is embed a co-research and co-design philosophy in your project. If you want to find out more about NAVSTA, Calvium will be in London next year at the Rail Innovation Exhibition. Now, moving to Plymouth University's Digital Seascapes, for which I was project mentor. Digital Seascapes takes a collaborative approach to designing new ways for communities to engage with the sea and its shore as a public space. Based in the seaside town of Plymouth, the aim of the project is to engage local young people who don't already have a relationship with the seaside and engage them in new ways of making coastal areas more accessible to them. And also more broadly, the project seeks to create resilient and inclusive coastal communities. As part of the project, a digital citizen science toolkit will be created, and it'll be part of a wider set of activities. Look here at the illustration. This is the project's theory of change. And a theory of change is a framework that explains how a particular intervention or series of actions is expected to bring about specific developmental outcomes. It draws on causal relationships and is grounded in evidence, outlining the steps and conditions necessary to achieve the desired change. And so our insight here is at the start of your project, create a theory of change with all the project partners and use it to ground your innovation and refer to it as you go along. From Plymouth to Edinburgh, and a project that aims to support people to move around their neighbourhoods after dusk by walking, wheeling, and public transport. And it's research that I led for the City of Edinburgh Council in Scotland. Now, here we're framing parks and green spaces as places to travel through as part of a journey. not as places to dwell. And why is that? Well, the City of Edinburgh Council understands that people's perceived safety of being in unlit parks after dark or after dusk, it decreases. And as the city's parks are often key connecting routes between destinations, this means that many potential active travel and public transport journeys are foregone due to people choosing cars, motorbikes, and other motorized transport to move around the city safely, or indeed not venturing forth at all. And by illuminating the most appropriate paths at nightfall, the city aims to enhance the perceived safety of its parks and encourage their use as sites of connection. In that way, it's expected that more people will adopt active travel and public transport journeys, and the city will reap the associated social, economic, and environmental benefits. So I worked with the council to discover which of its 149 public parks had formal unlit paths, where the installation of sensitive lighting would provide additional benefit for residents. And these parks were recommended, were ranked and then recommended to consider for lighting. And the report was used as evidence to help unlock £500,000 of initial funding. As with all cities, there are a number of strategies, policies, and goals that underpin the operations of Edinburgh. Remember this slide from earlier? Key foundational texts that inform this project in its commission, its approach, and analysis include the City of Edinburgh's Active Travel Action Plan and 20-minute neighbourhood strategy, Scotland's Equally Safe strategy, and Goal 11 of the United Nations SDGs that seeks to make cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. And as such, this research paid special attention to the needs of those in vulnerable situations: women, children, disabled people, and older people. And I created a bespoke framework with data related to those strategies, policies, and goals mentioned above, which was used to assess each of the parks. The insight here is to draw upon existing place-based data sets to understand your places better and to help inform decision-making. Ensure that you choose data that are from credible sources, that are universal for your location, and that support inclusion. Next, we are off to Bath in North Somerset, to Beckford's Tower, which is the only remaining building associated with William Beckford, who died in 1844. The trust that runs it received a National Heritage Lottery Fund grant to carry out a major project to conserve the building and to better tell the complex story of Beckford's life. Key to the success of the project is its digital visitor experience, delivered on-site and remotely. Here you can see screens from the Visitor app that was created by Calvium, and it features an outside mode with themed tours that encourage exploration of the tower's landscape, and an inside mode that enhances the experience for paying visitors by providing deeper insights into the artifacts and indoor exhibits of the building. I want to draw your attention to the accompanying digital experience that was developed specifically for those unable to climb the tower's 154 steps. These rather fabulous binoculars enable visitors to experience a 360-degree panoramic view of Bath from the ground floor, providing a dramatic encounter with the landscape and enabling accessible exploration. Our insight is, when imagining at the start of a project a visitor experience, think how digital placemaking might be able to extend those visitor experiences so that more people can be included. And now, drum roll, for our big announcement. Way! Calvium has been commissioned to deliver, or to help deliver, All In, which is a new UK arts access scheme for deaf, disabled and neurodivergent people. At the meta level, in the UK, arts and culture is extraordinarily important to society and the economy. Theatres, museums, galleries and libraries are the beating heart of our towns and cities, contributing around 10.5 billion to the UK economy. Not only do they bring prosperity, they bring communities together and make life richer. Recognizing that often these creative and cultural experiences are not equally accessible to all people, the Arts Council England, Arts Council of Wales, Creative Scotland and Arts Council of Northern Ireland has commissioned All In. The All In scheme aims to simplify a venue's ticket booking system or process for people with access needs. Its ambition is to create a digital membership scheme through which customers can provide details of their access needs just once, hurrah, rather than repeating the process for each location. Through the scheme's website, customers will find clear, accurate information about accessible performances and the venue's facilities, allowing them to book and attend a location with confidence. And this service will remove the current barriers experienced by deaf, disabled, and neurodivergent people when they seek to find out about a location, its performances, and when they want to simply book a ticket. And this is a perfect example of innovation for social benefit. Now, Calvium, with our partners Yoti, are delighted to be part of the multi-agency team who have been commissioned to deliver this innovative project. We are thrilled to be using our expertise to deliver the secure and easy-to-use digital membership platform that will underpin the seamless booking experience. Right, what I want to point out here is All In's research foundation. If you look at that slide, the foundation. So time and care has been taken by our client to commission specialists across the nations to conduct research to inform the fundamental aspects of the project. As you can see, disability access, widening engagement, and more. And the findings informed the brief for the project, which as such provided Calvium with a really rich base of insights from the very get-go, from right at the start of the project. Now, this puts us all at a real advantage. Our clients are very well informed, and there is a universal confidence amongst the whole team because of what this research has revealed. Now, it's just fantastic, and I'm bursting, as you can see, and we will be sharing more about the project as it develops over the forthcoming years. So please stay in touch and watch this space. So finally, we've come to the end and a quick fire roundup. For future digital innovations to work in service of all people, let's look back at what we've seen from our projects. The wealth of projects have shown us that we need to identify the need. At the meta level, the need in Freetown was identified from the environmental, from the economic, and from the social perspectives. It established a clear challenge, which is what we need to do. So where does the opportunity lie for meaningful change? And get leadership buy-in, if you possibly can, to help advance the project across all stages. And indeed, if you are that leader, be an active advocate. Digital Seascapes in Plymouth showed us the value of creating a theory of change. All In demonstrates the value of commissioning a project whose brief is informed by great research. And NAVSTA provides evidence of how to embed a co-research and co-design philosophy across your project. As we saw in Edinburgh, there is a wealth of place-based data that can be used to inform decision-making. And finally, Beckford's tower exposed the opportunity to create digitally enabled, alternate, but aligned visitor experiences. And there we have it. As I said at the top, this talk is for those who are committed to both interpreting the world and changing it for the better. Go forth with these ideas and insights and be inspired to make that change happen. Thank you.